Hello. So I'm Mike, and what I want to do today is tell you a little bit about diabetes. Specifically, what you need to know about diabetes. So there's 3 different kinds. You have type 1, type 2, and gestational diabetes. So type 1, it's very serious, and typically they will be very insulin dependent, or you might take some medicine for it. Type 2 diabetes, sometimes you will take insulin, or sometimes you'll be taking more medicine. And with gestational diabetes, it occurs during pregnancy, where the woman, when she becomes pregnant, will also become diabetic. She might take insulin, she might take medicine, but it depends on doctor recommendations for her and the baby. But after the baby is born, typically the diabetes will dissipate. So something very important that happens with all 3 of these, you have to monitor your blood sugar levels. You have to take measurements of your blood sugar levels, typically every day, morning, afternoon, and night, 7 days a week. You have to consult with your doctor to see when the best times to check your blood sugar levels, but also keep that in mind when you are checking them. Your blood sugar level should range between 80 and 130. If it goes above or if it goes below, it's very bad for your diabetes. But if you stay between the range, it's a good place to be. So I know you're probably thinking, how do you take care of your diabetes, or how do you control it? Of course, yes, with your medicine or your insulin, but you also have to eat healthy too. And I know you're thinking, how do I do that? Well, let me explain. So within every meal, you want between 45 and 60 grams of carbs. And that's very important to know. You have to be very cautious that you have to make sure that it's every meal, because carbs actually contain glucose. And so those carbs will be turned into glucose and get into your bloodstream, and that will cause a high blood sugar level. So where do carbs come from specifically? Potatoes, rice, pasta, bread, cereal, crackers. You really gotta be specific. Even corn. I mean, you gotta watch your grains and be sure that you read labels. All of those have natural glucose within the food. So if you eat them, it's going to cause high blood sugar levels as well. Suppose if you eat vegetables or meats, yes, you can have meat, but be very lean, like chicken or fish. Should be good for you. If you have fruit and a small part of carbs, of course you don't need to cut them out completely, but you do need them to regulate your body. If you have a small portion, it should be alright for you. You don't want a large portion at all. Be sure to follow portion controls that are on each of the labels. If it says you could have 1 cup, or if you're talking about fruit, you know you can have just a small portion, but you have to be careful to watch that as well, because it also has natural glucose levels inside. So if you have a cup of fruit and a couple carbs, typically that'll be okay for your body. it's important to measure your food. You have to have between the 45 and the 60 grams, and if you follow that, you'll be great. Also, another important part about having a good meal regimen is documenting what you're eating. Because typically your doctor will ask you to measure blood sugar levels before you eat and after you eat. But a great thing to do is you have to wait a few hours, because your blood sugar level will spike after you get done eating. So you have to wait until it drops and kind of plateaus, because that's the best way to check it. Okay, so again, make sure that you follow your insulin shots or your medication as well as the instructions are listed, and you eat healthy. You have to have good healthy habits to control your diabetes. So be careful, and if you stay with that, you can be healthy.